Srila Prabhupada, he came to the West. He had the first canto of Bhāgavatam translated with purports. And then he translated for the world the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And at the very beginning of Gita, he is describing the difference between the body and soul, trying to convince us we are not this body, trying to convince us to give up the sense enjoyment that only pertains to the body. He translated the second canto, third canto, fourth canto, fifth canto, sixth canto, seventh canto, eighth canto, ninth canto. Then he translated the entire Adi Leela, Madhya Leela, and Anti Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ishopanishad. And finally, at the very end of his Leela on earth, he was translating the 10th canto of Srimad Bhāgavatam. And here we find in his purport the same exact explanations as we find in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, that you're not this body, the difference between body and soul, with all sorts of philosophical ways to convince our mind of this truth. It is for this reason that Srila Prabhupada's books are so glorious and illustrious in this age of Kali Yuga. Because although he is giving factually the highest knowledge, the highest information of Lord Sri Krishna's Leela, he is keeping it all very strictly in perspective of the basic principles of the Bhagavad Gita's philosophy. Therefore, a person can read any of his books from any place and not be bewildered. Srila Prabhupada was very much stressing how one must very carefully study Bhagavatam. In fact, Shukadeva Goswami describes in Bhagavatam that one who jumps into the 10th canto studying Ras Lila without first realizing the preliminary truths, such person, he is performing an act which is more deadly than drinking poison. So Srila Prabhupada, he wrote these books, and after writing them, they were published, tens of the thousands they were published, and he told his disciples to distribute them. And when you're distributing to people in the streets, when you're distributing to people in the airports, very few of those people, especially in the Western countries, have gone through Bhagavad Gita in the first 9 cantos. So the devotees were actually feeling that perhaps they were doing some mistake by distributing his books. 8th canto, 7th canto, 10th canto, 9th canto. How is this possible, Srila Prabhupada? How will they understand? He said, they cannot understand the Bhagavatam, but I have made my translations in such a way that any place you pick up my Bhagavatam, you'll learn Bhagavad Gita, and how every verse applies to the Gita's original instructions. And therefore he specifically and purposely wrote these purports in such a way for the modern age man. For those who are advanced devotees, the highest information, the highest realizations are given. But for those who are not so advanced, it is all in perspective of the basic principles that you are not this body and that you should simply become a servant of Krishna. So expertly, Sri Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, has empowered him in this way. So here we are, highest, most intimate and confidential of all vicinities of Veda, the 10th skanda of the Bhagavatam, and we're reading how you're not this body. You should give up the bodily concept of life. And sometimes we're reading all these beautiful pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, and then we come to this and we want to just skip through it because we've already heard it so many times. I want new rasas, I want new nectar, I want the juice of newer and newer subject matter of Krishna's divine pastimes. This hanyate, hanyamane, sarire, how many times have I heard it? For the last 20 years I've been hearing it. Hanyate, hanyamane, sarire. I want to hear something else. I already know. But the problem is we do not know. Therefore, we must be continuously reminded. Otherwise, everything else we learn will be misunderstood utterly.
You were listening to Radhanath Swami on thesacredconnect.com.